your screen?
Yes, let me just try it really quick. And so this would be the presentation. Does that, do you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Then I'm able. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I think we're ready to roll. 1 second.
Oh, so the students don't join this session, basically.
No, but they're all watching.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay.
And they're gonna submit questions while we're doing this.
Okay, and the questions, do you want to me answer them like as I go or wait at the end?
At the end, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'll come back and do more of like a Q&A.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, I think we're streaming. 1 second. I'm a terrible. Okay, here we are. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, rather. I am Kalia Braswell, the founder of INTech Camp for Girls, and this is our second day of camp, our virtual camp. And we wanted to invite you all to join our guest speaker series. And so we have all 60 of our scholars from around the country now tuned in to this live video so that they can ask questions. But we wanted to share this moment with you all as well. And so today we have Wolfpack alum, Dr. Andrea. Can you help me with your last name? Villanes?
Villanes, that's good.
Villanes. Ah, perfect. Okay. Dr. Andrea Villanes from NC State. She's an assistant professor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Assistant professor of analytics at NC State. And today, Andrea is going to address our students. She has a presentation shared. And at the end, we'll come back for a Q&A with some of the questions that were submitted. So thank you for being here, Andrea, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you for inviting me to speak at the INTech camp. I have heard great things about the camp. My niece actually attended last year and she had an awesome time. So I'm very happy.
So happy.
Yeah, very, very happy to be here. Okay, so I just want to tell you a little bit of my background and how I got to be an assistant professor here at NC State. For all of you that might not be so sure about what you want to do in the future, and to tell you a little bit of my experience on what do I do day by day, to just put some context on what computer science is, because it's going to be very, very broad. So I have a PhD in computer science from North Carolina State University, NC State, and I am an assistant professor at the Institute for Advanced Analytics. This is a master's degree where we teach students to analyze data from different companies using different programming languages. So that's what I do day by day. Right now we are currently starting the program of analytics. We have 120 students from different universities across the US and across the world as well. And then our end goal is for them to basically get a job that they enjoy doing after the 10 month of the program. Okay, so the question that you might be having is, did you always wanted to be a university professor? And the answer is no. I didn't none of my family members had been university professors. So I didn't have much idea of what a professor does day by day, but I started teaching at the university as a TA and ended up really enjoying the process of teaching to different type of students. And I really enjoy the process of making sure that the students understand and they feel comfortable with different programming languages. So I'm originally from Peru. You can see that, you can tell that I have a very thick accent, and I am from Peru. I speak Spanish as my first language, and I came to the US to study 10 years ago. I had a dream to always come to the US, and I made it happen as soon as I finished the university. So in Peru, I studied computer science for my undergrad. It was one of the careers that were not really popular at the time. Careers popular would be if you want to be a doctor, like a medical doctor, or a lawyer, or maybe even if you want to go to engineer, it's more popular to be a civil engineer or electrical engineer. But computer science was not really something that was very, very popular at that time. And none of my family members were in the computer science field. So did I always wanted to study computer science? The answer is no. Um, like when I was exploring the different careers, it was an option because it was one of the careers that the universities were offering, but it was not what I really wanted, like what it was, like my dream or anything like that. I ended up in computer science basically by chance. So um, I attended, like when I was in high school, I went to the university that I wanted to study, and they were having different talks from different careers, like saying like, okay, this career, they do this, these are the type of jobs that you can get at the end of the career that you study. And I was not really paying much attention when I went to that talk. I was with my classmates, we were like talking, playing games, like we were not really good people that were attending those talks. But my mom, she was sitting in the back with the other parents. We were 17 at the time. So she was sitting in the back, and she heard, like she also listened to all the careers being explained and what type of path you can go, like which type of jobs you can get at the end. So once the talk finished, I went to meet her, and she said, "Oh, what did you think?" And I had not paid a lot of attention, so I was like, "I don't know." All of them were good. And she said, "Oh, but I think computer science is really good. Like the logic that you have in your brain might fit that career based on what they were explaining, and it seems like the opportunities are good at the end of the career. So at the end of the studies." So she was like, maybe that's an option. And I was like, I had not paid attention. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that's an option. So and I ended up doing more, like reading more about it when I went home, like using the internet at that time, because I didn't have anyone in my life that was in computer science. So I had to read, and then I read some things, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. So I ended up like in that field. I applied to the university, and I was chosen to do computer science. So your question might be, okay, but you were good in programming at least. And I had no idea what programming was. And programming is a big part of computer science. But I had no idea. I didn't have any experience with computer science, with programming. When I got to the university, there were students that had experience with programming. I had none. You are going to have, like during this week, you're going to learn with the camp much more than what I knew once I enrolled in the university. That's how I started. But you might be asking, like, were you at least a math genius? Because like there's going to be math involved in computer science. And I was okay in math. I was a good student, but definitely not genius level at all. I had attended a school in Peru, like a high school, elementary school, where like they wanted to make sure that the students were good in all areas of life, like including like how to cook, how to like socialize with other people. And math was like, it was one of the areas that they wanted to make sure that you could do, but it was not like their main focus. So I was not genius. I was good in math, but I was not like one of the superstars once I enrolled in the university. So the question is like, okay, maybe you were not a genius before, but were you really, really good in programming once you started? Like, did you touch the computer and then you started like typing furiously and you learn all the programming languages just because you saw them? And the answer is no. I had to work really, really hard to become good in programming and to catch up with the other students that had a little bit more of programming coming on to the university. I had a lot of support. I had like um, because I was struggling in some of the courses, I had the opportunity to get tutors. Like a tutor, like there were in Peru, there are tutor companies. So you enroll in those companies and they help you, so you can use those services to make sure that you have good grades in the university. So like they are giving you extra classes. So I had that support, and I made friends with students that were as hard working as I was, because we were meeting in groups in the library just to make sure that we were all able to solve the problems, for like the math courses, the programming courses, any type of courses that we were taking. We were all working really hard, um, and that was very, very good that I had the support of my friends and then tutors, and the teachers as well, to make sure that I got the grades that I needed. I almost gave up a few times during undergrad because I was not really sure if that was what I wanted to do. I teach these topics now, and I cannot believe that now, like looking back, I cannot believe that at some point I didn't like it or I struggled a little bit, but I stayed on track. So there were a few times that I talked with my mom and I said, I don't know if computer science is what I really want to do. And she would say, like, just stick with it, like give it one more chance. And I would give it one more chance, and then I would like get the grade for the course and then go to the next level as well. And then also towards the end of the career of the study, I found internships, not definitely not at the beginning. I found the internships at the end, and the supervisors in those internships became my mentors. So I was asking them like, oh, like if you would choose, like if you would be in my shoes, like a student that is graduating from undergrad, what what career would you, not career, but what topic of computer science would you choose? So they were the ones that they were telling me, I think data mining, analytics is going to be a good area. And that was like 11 years ago. Like this is becoming popular. You like you can like the supervisors my supervisors were able to give me the the advice I needed to choose an area of computer science, because computer science is very, very broad. Probably you're going to hear from different like speakers that are doing a different area of computer science during this week. So they like the supervisors gave me that mentorship. So then I decided, once I finished the undergrad in Peru, I decided to move countries, to come to the US to study a master's degree. And I had already come to Raleigh, North Carolina, to visit NC State because my aunt graduated from the PhD in statistics when I was 7 years old. And I came to see the graduation, to see her graduate from the PhD. And it made a very, very big impact in my life. I really, really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the US. It was very different from Peru, and I always wanted to study in the US. So I came here. I interviewed with the program where I actually work. I study this program. So I interview here. I ask questions. I show a lot of interest. So I ended up coming here to study. And you were probably asking, like, were you like you probably were very good in English? And the answer is no. Okay, so that's something that I can say. Like I was very during high school, I was a very, very good student in all the courses, but my English was not good. And you can still hear like a very thick accent, because like even my classmates during high school, they didn't have much accent. It was me. So I was like the person that probably all the English teachers never thought that I would come to the US and live a life that I have to speak in English all the time and even teach in English. Um, so then you might be asking, like, you probably didn't have many problems with the courses once you arrive to the US. And the answer is no. I had to work very, very hard as well. Like I knew how to work hard because my undergrad had been like a lot of effort. And in the US, I also had to work hard. So I didn't have to suffer in that point because I was already used to like investing a lot of time. But I like that the point is that I never gave up. So if I would have a struggle with a course, like I would the same things that I had learned to do in Peru, I would ask for help. I would make a friend. Like I would find a friend that they would also be studying for the same course, and we would meet like during the weekends after 5 p.m. just to make sure that we were both able to get the grade that we needed. So I like that's something that I can say is that I never gave up. Like in English, like I have never gave up like learning English. Even right now, I use a lot of TikTok. And TikTok has some accounts that teach you how to pronounce the words in English. Like you are all probably not like if you're using TikTok, like you're probably not getting those videos, but I get them because the algorithm knows that I am not a speaker English speaker. So they recommend that for me. So like after I came to the US, I got 3 degrees from here, from the university. I got first a master's in analytics, where I work now too. I also got a master's in computer science. And then at the end, I decided to go for the PhD in computer science because I knew that I wanted to teach. And if you want to teach at the university level, you need that PhD. So that was a time, like I was working full time, but I graduated with a PhD. Actually, it was in December of last year. So now I am able to use that degree to teach at the university and work as a professor. So the 3 highlights that I want to share with you, based on the experience that I have had all these years, is that the first one would be to persevere even if things don't look good. So like when somebody comes and says like, I have all these degrees, you might be thinking like, oh, it must have been very, very easy. But the answer is no. I had to work hard, and that's the second point, but to also like give it one more chance even when things don't look good. The second one is work hard, like even like weekends, even for completing the PhD, I was working the weekends, like extra hours, because I was already working full time. So even if others, like if you see other people that are not working as hard as you, like that doesn't mean that you don't need to work hard. So it will all pay up at the very end. So now that I don't have to study, like I already finished my studies, I have a lot of time that I can use for other things. I could spend 2 hours at night doing TikTok, for example. I can take trips if I want, or like I can use the time as I want. So even if you don't see the end really, really like close, you can try to like make it long term. And then the third one is would be find a support if you need. So I see that with my students. I have master students that we have in this program, and I see the ones like the students that may be struggling, and they reach out to the professors because they need help. So if I see a student that is struggling but is asking for help, I would say okay, that student, they are trying, right? But if you're struggling and you do not ask for help, and then at the end of the semester you get a very bad grade, and then the director of the program comes and say like, Andrea, did you have any interaction with this student that failed the course? I would say no, because they never came to me. So, but if the other student that actually came for help and maybe they got a lower grade, I would have something good to say. So find the support, like reach out to your teachers, go to the office hours, like all of that will make a difference because they will see you, they will meet you, they will know that you are like trying to learn. And that's the most important thing, um, like that you're trying to learn the material that will help you at the end. So in terms of what I do right now, so I use different programming languages to analyze data. So this week you might be learning different programming languages like HTML, for example. I use Python, I use SAS, I use R to analyze data. So companies are collecting a big amounts of data, and they haven't used it that many years. So then we come as like data scientists that grab all the data and use different programming languages to make sense out of it. Okay, so I use a different combination of tools like programming, definitely is a big part, statistics that has a lot of math involved, and then I also use visualization because we don't want to show a graph at the end that nobody understands based on the results that we got. Like we need to make sure that the graph that we are showing is able to be understood by any type of people that might be in the company, like from the CEO to the person that is in charge of analyzing the data. Like everyone should be able to understand what we are trying to communicate. So it's the combination of those 3 different fields. So specifically, like I analyze text data, textual data. So every minute, different companies and different people are posting in social media. They are interchanging like emails. So you can see here that I have like Twitter. By every minute, people post 300,000 tweets. Facebook, 2.5 million posts, and Gmail collects 200 million of emails every minute. So it's a lot of data, and we cannot go and say, okay, I want to analyze what people are saying about this topic. I cannot read all the tweets. I have to use programming statistics visualization to make sense out of that data. So I use something that is called text mining for that. So text mining is just a process of finding interesting patterns in large textual data sets. So I'm going to give you an example of that. And at the end, I want to show you, like, at the end, we are like any type of text that you have, we convert that to numbers, and then we apply the regular statistical models that statisticians have been applying for the last 50 years. Okay, so in terms of if I want to do text mining, I have to first collect the data, and I am going to collect it from different places like Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, maybe surveys that the companies are running, like they are sending you surveys and you fill it, but they are collecting thousands of those. They cannot read through all of those responses. And the last one might be reviews. So you might be familiar with Amazon reviews. People buy a product and then they go and type, I liked it, I didn't like it because of this. So we collect all of that, and then we go through a process, like don't worry about the names, but at the end, we are taking the text information to convert it to be a number, like numbers matrix. And then we use that matrix to analyze it using different statistical models that have been there for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example. I'm not going to show you the math or anything like that. I'm going to show you the result so you can see, oh, like this makes sense, and this is something that is useful for the companies. So a few years ago, I was working for the company Walmart, and I was in charge of analyzing their textual data. So on May 28th, a few years ago, they posted this on Facebook. They said, we are loving these longer days. What's your favorite thing about summer? So they collected around 1,500 comments in total. So a person, like anyone that is working from Walmart, is not able to grab that information and read through the comments and then say like, oh, I think they are talking about this, this, and this. No, it will be too much, right? Like 5 answers, 5 comments, I can do that without any problem. But 1,500 comments, that's a lot. So we use text mining in order to make sense out of all this data. So the results, like after I ran all the process of text mining, was this. We found 4 segments of people that were answering to Walmart. Okay, so first we had the family lovers, then the night lovers, vacation lovers, and then at the end we had the beach lovers. So the family lovers were talking about spending time with the family, with friends, the kids playing outside. The night lovers, they were talking about enjoying the air conditioning facilities, ice cream, the night, and the sunset. The vacation lovers were talking about being free from school, from the university, enjoying the weather, and the nice long days. And then at the end, we also had the beach lovers, and those were people that were talking about enjoying the beach, swimming, flip-flops, fishing, etc. So using text mining, we can grab all these 1,500 comments and make sense out of the data and deliver this chart that anyone in the company should be able to understand. I actually ended up presenting this result, like this same chart, to the CEO of Walmart and then to the executive panel of Walmart, and they couldn't believe how like we were able to use text mining to solve this type of problem. And this is just a combination of programming, statistics, and visualization. Okay, so computer science would allow you to do that type of analysis. Computer science is very, very big. It might be that I talk with another person that graduated from computer science and they are doing something completely different than I am doing. And that is completely okay. It's a big field, but this is an area of computer science. Analytics is going to analyze data that companies, organizations might have, and then like you can also use social media resources to analyze data that a company might be interested in analyzing. Okay, so that's it from me today. I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. That was great. That was a great presentation. I love the visuals and learning more about your story. And also, like, fun fact, the TikTok, using TikTok to learn. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
We have a lot of amazing questions. And so I highlighted a few. Our students they had a lot of questions. And so I'm trying to prioritize them. One question that I will ask you, did it make your career easier since you are bilingual? That was one of the questions submitted.
Um, I think like it made easier in terms of like looking for more opportunities and to collaborate with other companies. So right now, for example, I am helping a podcast like a NPR podcast that is completely in Spanish. So I am able to use text mining, but for something completely different that maybe I would not have the opportunity to analyze, to get my hands on if I would only be speaking English. So
Mhm.
it has open opportunities. I just came back from not just, but like I went to a workshop in December in Costa Rica where I met a lot of um, like professionals that are working in the field of analytics, but in Costa Rica and different countries of Latin America. So it has opened the opportunities for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering that. Knowing what you know now and having your experiences, if you could pick any job, would you still pick computer science?
Yes,
Yes.
totally. Yes, it has opened so many opportunities and allow me to do a lot of things like teach, collaborate with different companies like Walmart, and then like travel too. Like I have gone to so many places because of conferences and opportunities as well.
Thank you. Okay. What does a computer science degree entail and what kinds of classes do you take?
So you take classes like math, like you will take a lot of calculus, physics, like chemistry, like a lot of like the general courses. And then once you graduate from those general courses, you go into your more specialized courses like programming, like more towards computer science. Programming, you still see a lot of math, but like you start like looking into databases and different specialized courses. And you're also able to pick like what elective you want to include in your career as well.
Awesome. Thank you. How does your background impact your life? And I'm assuming when they say background, just kind of like your upbringing and things of that sort.
I think like I think anyone given any background is going to have a very good impact in their life. I think like the way that I teach, the way that I try to communicate with my students is based on my experience. So if I am talking with a student that might be struggling, I might be able to emphasize a little bit more because at some point I also struggle. So
Mm,
I think like anyone's background will will have a very big impact in their how they 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 go day by day basically.
yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Two more. How does the data that you showed from your time at Walmart, how does that data help them get more customers or sell more products?
Yes, so that's a very good question. And for example, if I go back to the results, you could see that I'm going to share my screen just for
Yes,
this one.
sure.
So, and this was something that we mentioned in the presentation. So for Walmart, you can see that the highest bar, like the longest bar, was family lovers, and they knew that, like they already knew that, but they had never seen it in a. My
The
sorry.
most sir.
Um,
Technology.
they had never seen it in a chart based on Facebook responses. So based on this, they were able to say, okay, our main, like the people that are following the most on Facebook were the people that were like gearing towards family. So depending on that, like based on that, they were able to say, okay, marketing, make sure that you are using the family like strategy and like the family communication in your next posts on Facebook as well.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that, giving us a little more insight. And the last question that we'll end on today is, what advice would you give your youngest self, or
Um,
or your niece, because she did come to INTech camp? So
she did. Just like I would say, like just keep learning, not only programming, but keep learning like math. Try to like anything that you can keep learning, like read books, like because all like your experiences will help you at the end. Like if you are like if you have the opportunity to go for like a visiting school, like to visit another school or like to visit a company, like to go to another camp next year, like keep doing it, even if sometimes like it might be a little bit scary at the beginning. Like just keep doing it, keep reading books, keep trying to make your brain like like exciting and like use all the information that they have at hand.
nice. Yes, be a lifelong learner.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Cool. Well, Andrea, I appreciate you so much for your time today. Your presentation was fantastic. And our students seem to have learned a lot and be really into the information that you shared today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. To everyone else watching and to our scholars, hello. Definitely tune in. We have two more speakers for the week. And then on Friday, we'll have our community celebration. And Andrea, you are more than welcome to join us. That way you'll see some of the projects that our students have been working on this summer,
Nice.
this week. So thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.